So we just saw a movie called Together, starring Dave Franco and Allison Brie. He's always got to come in and give the kisses.
Always,
This dog wouldn't let this happen to us.
No, he would fight it.
We'll have to talk about that in the spoiler discussion that we'll do tomorrow. So we went and saw Together, a movie we've been really looking forward to. This is brought to us by Neon. Now, I want to say up front, I have not researched the lawsuit well enough to discuss it. I know certain parts of it. I know arguments on both sides, but I don't know where I stand on it. So if you're here to talk about that, I don't know. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know. I just went and saw this movie. I would like to see the other one that is claiming that this is copyright infringement and that it was sent to Allison Brie and Dave Franco and they ripped it off. And I don't know. If that's the case, that sucks. But yes. I can only talk about this movie, how I saw it, and until that lawsuit goes through, that's that. So this is about a couple that is moving away. They are going to go live in a more secluded area. She's a school teacher. He is a musician who's not really making it. And they're trying a real go at it together. They
take the plunge.
Yeah, they take the plunge, right? Yeah. And I'm sure you saw the trailer. I'm sure you know something about this movie. But let's just say their bond is inseparable. Yeah. How about that? If you don't know anything about the movie, good. Go in blind. Yeah. This is the perfect date movie. It'll definitely get you talking.
This is a date night movie for sure.
Of course, as always, we had some interesting things going on in the theater, but we'll save that for the end.
For those of you that are caring about that.
Yeah. Okay, so as far as the film goes, what do you think?
I thought it was awesome. I think it's as you said, it is one of those films that I think can spark a lot of conversation. And we had some good conversation about it on the way home because I think that there are definitely different interpretations of the film and angles that you can look at it. And when I say interpretations, I mean as far as what the metaphor of the story is, I suppose. I think that the actual story itself is like you can follow that. There's not really any confusion or ambiguity in terms of what's going on in the film's plot. Yeah. But just as far as how it makes you feel and maybe what you interpret it as meaning on a larger scale, if that makes sense.
Sure, I think it's a very strong metaphorical film, but what that metaphor is supposed to be is up for deliberation.
Yeah. But I thought it was great. I think that there's some genuinely really creepy scenes in there. Some cool visuals. It's for sure a body horror film, which we, always love. We're big body horror fans. I guess it's funny because body horror has so many, it's like a spectrum, like you can get into like really insane body horror. And I think for maybe mainstream audiences, this would probably be considered pretty like insane body horror. And there is good body horror stuff in this, but it's, it's like sporadic, like throughout the film. It's not, it's not like Overdrive or like all the time, like some other body horror films where it's like really insane and intense for the most of, you know what I mean?
It had much less body horror than I expected it to.
Yeah.
But that's not to say that the body horror isn't always present as far as like the threat of it.
Right,
it's
which I like.
The body's connection is not as on screen and as often as I would have had expected.
Yeah, I was kind of expecting a bit more, to be honest, but I still really liked what we got with the body horror. In fact, it reminded me of, if you remember in Uzumaki, there's like a segment with like this young couple that kind of get entangled. And so it has some of those vibes, I would say.
Yeah, other vibes that I got from some of the nightmare-ish kind of imagery. There's a couple things, but one of the ones that I was thinking of while we were watching it is the movie Cobweb.
Oh, yeah.
I think the nightmare stuff in that is fairly similar to this. So one note here for the film for sure is that Dave Franco and Allison Brie are married in real life. So this is an on-screen couple who have a relationship outside of the film, and I always feel like that helps performances. That's not necessary. I mean, some people just have incredible chemistry together, even if they've never been together. You know, look at Ryan Gosling and Emma Stone. They have the best chemistry on screen for me ever. And to my knowledge, they're probably fucking behind the scenes, but whatever. You know, that can be a benefit to the film, and I think it is here.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of like comedy in this movie in these very intense moments, which kind of breaks it up with levity. I can definitely see that being off-putting to people, where they start to think that this movie is stupid because of that. I think we're going to get a lot of that because this is a very uncomfortable film, and people don't like to feel uncomfortable. And a lot of the times the word that they'll option for while that's happening is stupid. They'll be like, this is so dumb. This is so stupid. So I don't know. The humor is interesting, but because it's Franco and it's because it's, you know, Brie, and they're both like primarily comedic actors, not always, but a lot of the times their roots are in comedy. It's not surprising, and I liked it. I mean, overall, I think the movie's really damn good. It's not my favorite body horror film of the year. That would go to the movie Else, which I couldn't recommend higher. We got like no fucking views on that video, so since we are going to get a lot of views on this one, please check out Else.
Yes.
ELSE.
Yeah, fantastic. And
but this is great too.
This
I'm
is
not
great
saying
too.
That. I just want to give that a shout out.
Yeah, similar concepts, I would say too. In some ways.
In some ways.
But yeah, I think that the comedy in this actually does work. I think it will make it work for more people, honestly, because as you said, the body horror aspect usually relies on some amount of discomfort.
Sure,
you know, because you're feeling it and you're like, oh my God, what if that was happening to me? As well as maybe some gross out, you know, that type of feeling. And I think comedy helps lighten that a little bit for people and make it more palatable.
Yeah.
I'm fine with body horror not having any comedy in it whatsoever. Like, I'm fine with all those gross feelings, but maybe for most people it kind of helps to balance it out a little bit. And since they are comedic actors, I think the comedic timing works in this. Our audience, we had a pretty full audience, and it sounded like people were laughing and reacting properly at the right, you know, at the funny parts. So I think that it was doing its job, but I also think you're right that there probably will be people that just sort of call it stupid and whatnot. And you know, if it's not your film, it's not your film. It's fine.
Yeah. As far as the body horror aspects of the film go, there is a good amount of CG as well as practical, so you get a blend. Some of it's very obvious CG, some of it's very obvious practicals. So if you're somebody who's like, I hate CG, I don't know how you do this film the way that they wanted to do it without CG. There's some great scenes where their bodies are magnetically attracted to one another. That stuff is excellent. The performances are both great. I think that they both go all in. They both feel, very frantic and very, frightened, and every emotion that they're supposed to be portraying, I think they do a very damn good job at. I think that there's kind of quite a few. I said to Kayla, this is almost like a litmus test for me of like your interpretation is kind of like how you view relationships in a way. I think there could be a good amount of discussion around this film and what it means to people and kind of like their takeaway and who they are when it comes to commitment and connection and unity. So I think this is a great date movie, like a couples movie.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, if you're not somebody who's in a relationship or whatever, that's fine too. If you're a body horror fan and whatnot. And if you don't mind kind of dark humor thrown in, to your films. And then the ending. So another aspect of the film too, which I think will also make people think that something's dumb, is that the film is fairly predictable. And because of that, which isn't a downside for me, as I've said in the past, I don't care if a film's predictable. I care about the execution of the predictability. Like, as long as everything is executed properly and it all makes sense, it's like I don't hold it against it unless the whole film's relying on a twist, and then the twist is obvious, and then when it happens, it's supposed to be like, oh my god, we got you, and you're like, you did not.
Yeah.
And that's all this film has to offer. Oh shit, this is a failure. That's not how this film is at all. The point of the film is the metaphors. It is all that stuff. So as far as the predictability goes, yes, I called everything, as I'm sure most people did. I don't feel like that makes me smarter, but it does make a lot of other people feel like they're smarter. It's like, well, I figured it out, so the movie's stupid. I never take it that way. I find the film is purposely predictable in that way. I don't think they're trying to hide the ball or anything with this movie. I think they're just doing the next logical conclusion of this setup. So no issues there for me. I think the movie is a big success. Another one for Neon. We got to see some cool trailers here. We got to see the one for Keeper, a full trailer this time.
That was rad.
We got to see a trailer for Shelby Oaks. That's the first footage
crazy.
I've ever seen. I had no idea there was going to be a trailer for that beforehand. And then our theater experience was interesting. Nothing crazy, but like, we came in, we sat down. The guy next to me was being weird about me sitting next to him and kept kind of like leaning over his girlfriend, and they were like talking to each other, and he kept kind of like looking over at me, and I was just like, dude, what is with you? He was being
theater,
weird.
So like it was, we don't, when we go to theaters, if there's room to sit, we don't want to sit right next to somebody, obviously. Like, another couple.
Assigned seating.
But when it's packed and it's the only options we have are 2 seats on the end or whatever.
That's all that was when we bought the tickets.
That's what it was.
So then another couple came in, and they were like, other people were sitting in their seats, and there had to be like this discussion between them, and then they finally got up because they were in the wrong seats, and they had to move up to the next row, and everyone was like kind of, a lot of attention was drawn to it because they were all kind of talking out loud, and they were like, sorry guys, like, these are our fucking seats, like, what do you want from us?
Yeah.
And then there was another couple that was like standing behind them, a couple guys that was standing behind them waiting the whole time for them to get in their seats, and then they kind of came up to those seats and were like, no, these are our seats.
Yeah.
And I was like, after this whole debacle with those seats, then those guys tried to come and be like, no, those are our seats. And then they were like, no. And they were like, wait, what movie is this? And someone said Together. And the guy was like, oh shit, we're in the wrong theater. This is that scary movie with the couple. And they like ran out. And then weirdly, okay, so then during the movie, somebody threw something like towards the screen. I don't even know what that was. It was just something at the
I just
in
saw
the movie.
Something dark.
Just launched toward the screen.
Thought was like, that's
no one reacted to it. I did too. I thought it was like a fucking like a smoke grenade that someone was throwing to like shoot the place up. I really did for a second. I was like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? And then no one noticed, no one drew any attention, no one like got up to go for it. I don't know what that was. That was weird. It was like a big really black thing that somebody threw. Then when we got out of the theater, the guys that were outside of the theater that were like, what movie is this?
We're
waiting at the doors. And then when we came out, they were like, is the movie over? And we were like, yeah. And they were like, yes. And they ran in the theater.
So weird.
And I was like,
so weird.
Did you come to a movie so early that your ticket said Auditorium 10?
I don't know.
And then they were like, waiting for the next showing, which was their movie that was supposed to be there, and they literally just sat outside the theater the entire time. I don't know what the fuck happened there, but they were literally the same guys that were like, that's that horror movie, and ran out.
Yeah.
And then they were literally standing in the doorway for when we walked out, and they were like, that movie over yet? And we were like, yeah. And they're like, yes. And they ran in. And I was like, what the fuck?
It was so bizarre.
It was so weird.
Very interesting experience. But I think everybody mostly liked the film. I don't know. I didn't really hear any Dialogue,
People were
people
uncomfortable.
were reacting.
People were
They were
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable, but
That was with the laughter.
that's what I was saying. Like the mainstream
the
audience.
sex scene, of course, as
Sex
you
scene
would
was
expect,
great.
people were like, "What the fuck?" and laughing, but
awesome.
very uncomfortably. So,
Yeah.
anyway, we're gonna do a full spoiler
We will.
discussion tomorrow because I got to go do something right now. So, other than that, big thumbs up and check out Else.
Yes. Please.
It's a great body horror film that no one is talking about
Really
and
cool.
no one saw except for Alex from Beyond the Void Horror
Yes.
Podcast. He's the only other guy who watched it and loved it as well. So check it out, support it, and support this. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Neon is killing it.
Yeah, we love Neon.
So
For sure. So.
yeah. All right, guys. We'll see you in the comments.
All right,
Adios.
bye.